Good day, everyone. Now, let's discuss the solving right triangles. But before that, let me introduce myself. I am Rana May Arlesara, but you can call me Teacher Lily. And now, let's discuss the solving right triangles. Solving right triangles are the triangles that made up of three line segments. They meet to form three angles. The size of the angles and the length of the sides are related to one another. If you know the size of length of the three of the six parts of the triangle, at least one side must be included. You can find the size of the remaining sides and angles. If the triangle is right, you can use simple trigonometric ratios to find the missing parts. In a general triangle, acute or obtuse, you need to use other techniques, including the law of cosines and the law of sines. You can also find the area of triangles by using trigonometric ratios. Triangles are made up of three sides and three angles. If the three angles of three are labeled angle A and angle B and C, then the three sides of the triangle should be labeled as A, B, and C.
Example 1. Illustrate how lowercase letters are used to name the sides of the triangle that are opposite the angles named with corresponding uppercase letters. If any three of these six measurements are known, or other than knowing the measures of the three angles, then you can calculate the values of the other three measurements. The process of finding the missing measurements is known as solving the triangle. If the triangle is a right triangle, the one of the angles is 90 degrees. Therefore, you can solve the right triangle if you are given the measures of two of the three sides, or if you are given the measures of one side and one of the other side. Solve the right triangle shown in figure B if B is equal to 22 degrees. So sin B is equal to B over C. And since RB is 22 degrees, so R sin 22 degree is equal to 16C. So C is equal to 16 over sin 22 degree. Then sin is equal to 16 over 0.3746. So we divided 16 divided by 0.3746 is equal 42.71. So our sin B is equal to 42.71. Then let's proceed to tangent. So tan B is equal to B over A. Same process, tan 22 degree is equal 16 over A. A is equal 16 over tan 22 degree. A is equal 16 over 0.4040. Then we divide 16 divided by 0.4040. So our tangent is 39.60. Then the alternate cosecant B is equal to C over B. Cosecant 22 degree is equal to C over 16. C is equal to 16 open cosecant 22 degree close parenthesis. Then C is equal to 16 open parenthesis 2.669 close parenthesis. Then our cosecant B is 42.71. Then let's proceed to cotangent. B is equal to A over B. cotangent 22 degree over A 22 degree is equal to A over B. A is equal to 16, open parenthesis, cotangent or cot 22 degree, close parenthesis. Then, A is equal to 16, open parenthesis, 2.475, close parenthesis. Then, we multiply 16 times 2.475 is equal to 39.60. So our cotangent B is 39.60.
Example number 2. Solve the right triangle shown in the figure B. If B equals to 8, then and A equals to 13. You can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side, but trigonometric relationship are used instead. The two missing angle measurement will be found first and then the missing side. Then example, tan B equals to B over A equals to 8 over 13 equals to 0.6154. Angle B equals to 3.6 degree. Then tan A equals to B over B, then equals to 13 over 8 equals to 1.625. Angle A equals to 58.4 degree. Then sin B. B equals over sin B. B over C. Sin 31.6 degree equals to 8 over C. Then C equals to 8 over sin 31.6 degree. Then C equals to 8 over 0.52339. Then equals to C equals to 15.27. In many applications, certain angles are referred to by special names. Two of these special names are angle of elevation and angle depression.
Sample number 3. Using sample number 3, find the length of sides x and y and the area of large triangle. This is the triangle. So we have 70 degree both sides, then we have x, y, and h. Because this is an isosceles triangle and the equal sides are opposite equal angles, the value of x and y are the same. If the triangle is divided into two, the right triangles, the base of each will be 6. So this is our cos 70 degree equals 6 divided by x. So our cos is 0.342 equals 6 divided by x. And then 6 divided by 0.342, and the answer is 17.54. And then now we proceed to tan. 70 degree equal h divided by 6. So our tan is 2.747 equal h divided by 6. So 6 times 2.747, and our area is BH and divided by 2. So 2 divided by 16.48 divide 2, and the answer is 98.88 square units. Example number 4. A ladder must reach to the top of the building. The base of the ladder will be 25 from the base of the building. The angle of the elevation from the base of the ladder to the top of the building is 64 degrees. Find the height of the building or the h and the length of the ladder or the m. So this is the example illustrates the conditions of this problem. And now, this is the solution. Tan 64 degree equals height over 25. 2.05 equals height over 25. Height equals 25 multiplied by 2.05 equals the height of 5.25. So that is our tan. Cos 64 degree equals 25 over m. 0.4 384 equals 25 over m. M equals 25.4384, or our final answer is M equals 57.02.
Example number 5. A woodcutter wants to determine the height of a tall tree. He stands at some distance from the tree and determines that the angles of elevation to the top of the tree is 40 degrees. He moves 30 closer to the tree and now the angle of elevation is 50 degrees. If the woodcutter's eyes are 5 above the ground, how tall is the tree?
So we have a drawing for example number 5.
From the small right triangle and from the large right triangle, the following relationships are evident. So we have the cot 50 degree is equal to y over x, 0.8391 is equal to y over x, is y is equal to 0.8381x. Then tangent 40 degree is equal to x over y plus 30. 0.8391 is equal to x over y plus 30. X is equal to 0.8391 or y plus 30. So we have to substitute the first equation in the second yield. X is equal to 0.8391 times 0.8391 x plus 30. X is equal to 0.7041x plus 25.17. 0.2959x is equal to 25.17. X is equal to 85.06. Note that the 5 must be added to the value of x to get the height of the tree, or 90.06 tall.
I know you want us, baby. Your eyes shine.